This is In the Parks and Beyond, the podcast where we dive deep into the magical world of Disney, explore the thrills of Universal, and venture beyond the parks. Join us for insider tips, expert insights, and world-class recommendations on the best rides, shows, and hidden gems. We'll take you on culinary journeys with top food picks and share exciting adventures from destinations around the world. So, pull your lap bars down and head into the parks with us as we embark on this roller coaster we call life.
Welcome back to In the Parks and Beyond podcast. I'm Katie.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Jerry.
And today we are going to be talking about all of the awesome theme park news that has come out the past week or so. I mean, there is a lot going on, not just with Disney, but Universal. We're getting really amped up for with Epic Universe. They're doing a lot of previews, and I know some of us are going to some of these previews soon. What do you guys think about all of this news?
I am so excited.
Me too. Understatement.
There's like no word like to describe the feelings that I'm feeling about this park.
Yep. Me too.
Yeah, we've been watching it build from the ground up for so many years now, and now it's like here.
I know. It's almost sad, almost in a way, like you want it to open, but at the same time, it's like, well, then the excitement will be gone.
Well, I feel like they timed the announcement of the UK park perfectly because now that Epic Universe is open, now we have another 6 years, I think, until the UK park opens. So we still have something to look forward to.
Marketing genius.
And they haven't even announced the changes that will be coming to the previous parks either. And I'm sure those will be right around the corner too.
Yes. Yeah. So what should we dive into first? Should we do Disney news first, or should we do Universal news first?
I feel like we should save the best for last, so let's talk Disney first.
Okay, cool. So Disney, I know, has a lot of stuff going on with renovations, not just in the parks, but at the resorts too. Yesterday, they announced the renovating or reimagining of the Grand Floridian lobby. And I'm kind of like on the fence about
me
this
too.
one.
Yeah, me too.
I love a good drink, but I really don't feel like a bar in the middle of the Grand Floridian lobby kind of fits the vibe of Grand Floridian. Especially when you have Enchanted Rose right up top.
Yeah,
I know. That's what I was thinking. And I know it's like a quick service bar, and I could see Grand Floridian needing like a quick service bar somewhere on the property. But
I already feel that the lobby's already busy as it is.
Yeah.
So it's like you're just adding more chaos to the chaos.
And so there's been several rumors, but I have not seen it confirmed yet that the gingerbread house won't be there this year because of the renovations, which kind of makes sense because if you think about, like, if you look at the image, the conceptual art for the lobby, it's kind of hard to see where they would even place the gingerbread house. So, and I wonder too, like how that will affect the layout in the future when they do those seasonal events like the Easter eggs and everything.
And I do remember when they were supposed to start the lobby renovation, I think it was a couple years ago. So they had set up the walls and they did cover the entire ground. So that does make sense that there won't be a gingerbread house this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll relocate it?
Maybe they would. I mean, I can't think of another resort that has the lobby space that could really fit something of that size. The only one I can think of is Wilderness Lodge, but that's a tight fit still.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah. I mean, Animal Kingdom maybe, but I also feel like it doesn't fit there at all.
It had to be like a completely different
like
build.
theme. Yeah. But I do like the birdcage design that they're trying to do. Like, I feel like that fits the theming and everything. So yeah.
I don't have I don't have a complaint about the theming that they announced because they've been changing everything to be so modern and lifeless. But at least they're still like I don't know like what the word, but like all the theming from the 90s is just being ripped away from my childhood. And now it's that like boring grays but at least there's still color in this.
Okay, there's this thing called the grayification of the world, and I can't remember which decade. I think it started happening like in the late 90s or something, but you can look at a map and it will show like color is being depleted from the world because there's more grays being built into like the buildings and everything. And I'm
Because
like, no more gray at Disney. Come on.
I just like I remember growing up and all like the Burger Kings, the McDonald's, they were all
Yeah.
bright yellows, blues, reds,
Yep.
and now they're both depressing gray blocks of
You
nothing.
got it. Yep.
I like it's crazy to think about how like all it's just like the Emporium, like the renovations. I don't like it.
Mhm.
It loses that character that I feel
Yeah.
Disney was known for.
Yeah. Well, it looks from the conceptual art, I think like if they can pull it off the way the art looks, it'll be okay. I'm just kind of like worried how like the traffic and the busyness is going to.
Especially like that's already a busy resort for non-resort guests. Like
Sure.
so now you're going to add a ton more on top of it. But I know, I mean, we never had an issue getting into Enchanted Rose like we do at Tiki Room. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's also totally different. You don't have to put your
Well,
name on it.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like I don't see like why you would put two bars so close together when
Yeah.
there is room on the property to put another bar.
Like I
A
could
quick
totally
service
see one
bar.
of those being outside too.
Yeah.
That would work really well. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see. And I can't remember if it had a completion date. Was it?
Think.
I thought it was next year.
Yeah, sometime next year, I think.
I think it was. I don't think it was as far out as 2027 because I feel like that would just be ridiculously long to have a lobby closed.
So
I mean, we know who we're talking about. So.
I mean, but then again, they are anticipating lower crowds, and you can tell that by all the summer offers they just dropped.
You got
Yeah.
it. Yep.
So they're really trying to pull people in. So I mean, it wouldn't be surprised if they do take long to finish the project just because they don't have a need to rush.
yeah. What was some of the other news that you saw? That was like the most recent one.
Well, and then a few, I think it was like last week they announced the opening dates of the Villains show and the Little Mermaid show returning.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I believe it's May 27th.
Yeah, May 27th for both of them. Yep.
Oh, cool. I am interested to see how they do the Villains show because that one.
Yeah, me too.
They released like the stage rendering, and it looks like there's going to be like the giant magic mirror, and it's going to involve that. It looks pretty cool. I think.
No, it definitely does.
Personally, I think that they're doing it just to test out the waters to see if it would fit in Villains Land or what adjustments they can make for a show that will be going into Villains Land. Because if they're retheming Rock and Roller Coaster, I wouldn't be surprised if eventually they put the
It's going to change again.
Put the Muppets back over there.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see that too. That was my first thought, was that they're using it to test for something bigger. But yeah,
because like if you like think about that area, it just doesn't like it's like a mix of everything. Because then you have Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, and then you have Villains. And then you had Lightning McQueen. Like it's just weird how like the Hollywood Studios was just a melting pot. Like it went away from Hollywood to Disney's junk drawer, if you will.
Seriously.
Oh man,
it's almost like the California Adventures, like what they're doing over there. It's like they're completely flipping away from the Hollywood aspect of the park.
I feel like Hollywood this might be another like 90s thing that we're talking about too, but like we used to have this, vision of what Hollywood is. And so like having those in the theme parks was big in the 90s, but I feel like we've kind of moved past that and people aren't as curious about like what Hollywood looks like and feels like and everything. And so I
can tell you that they did not prepare me for Hollywood.
Two.
Both Universal and both Disney did not do a good job of preparing me for the real Hollywood. I think Grand Theft Auto was more.
I was about to say, I think Grand Theft Auto is way more accurate.
I know, it's so true. Oh my gosh. Like the first time that I went to Universal Hollywood and I was like, I'm going to go check out the Chinese theater and the wax museums. And I, took like an Uber and I got on that street and I was like, wait, what?
Yep.
Jerry told me to park in the parking garage that was with the shopping center, so I did that. And then we came down the escalator and I was like, what the like
Yep.
You didn't prepare me for all that, Jerry. You just told me to go where to go for our Hollywood sign look. You didn't tell me that it was going to be full of street vendors and
Well,
I
I
couldn't
didn't-
even see the Hollywood stars.
I didn't want to like give all the surprises away.
That's the fun part, interacting with all of the street vendors and
You mean being hassled? They could put stuff in your hand.
Oh yeah.
They're like, oh, you touched it, you got to bite now. I'm like, how about you go
Yep.
off?
It's like Times Square on Times a Million.
it actually reminded me, this is kind of going off on a little tangent, but when we were doing our RV life, we went to Mexico to get dental work done. And when you cross the border into Mexico, the town is called Molar City because they do like all of this dental work. And they would have vendors coming up to you to try and get you to go into dentist office. And that's like literally when I went to Hollywood, I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly like Molar City. Except they're trying to sell me like, knockoffs of, movie stars and
Imagine getting like trying to get like hustled into going to the back of a minivan to get a root canal.
But in Hollywood, it's plastic surgery.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly. Yeah, Botox.
oh gosh, that's hilarious. Well, okay, so we've got the villain show, we've got what was the other one? Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid's going to make its return, and that looks actually really good.
Yes, it does.
I remember, I used to go with my little siblings. They would love that show. And then with COVID, they were like, oh, well, the theater had a leak and now it's full of mold. And everything like, that's not, I don't think Disney would just do that. I just think it was closed because it was a show from the olden days of Disney and it was losing its draw with the younger generation.
Yeah.
So I think that this one, the guy who designed it, I think you're saying that it's going to be more lively. It's still going to incorporate like the original aspects, but better with newer technology, which I think if Disney's strong suit is implementing that newer technology into their new things instead of it just being full on puppets.
Yeah.
Like visual, like when you can add visual lighting things, that's the iPad generation is going to want that. They're not going to want
Exactly. Yep.
the actors or anything like that.
I have not seen the Little Mermaid show, and I actually have not really been into shows until like the past couple of years. And I saw the Finding Nemo show at Animal Kingdom for the first time last year, 2024. Yeah, shows were not really my thing until recently.
I'm with you, actually.
Shows, my mom loves the shows back in the, like when we went, so we would, at Universal, we'd go to Terminator, we'd go to Sinbad, we'd do it all. But as these siblings that are boring, don't want to do anything, we really don't do it anymore. And I hate going into shows by myself. I feel like it's a waste of time when I go solo.
I started going solo because my husband doesn't really like the shows. He would like probably Indiana Jones and
That's a
action
good one.
shows. Waterworld at Universal Hollywood is awesome. He would probably like that.
It's the best show I think I've ever watched in a theme park.
I know.
I'm so sad that we don't have one in Florida.
I know. I did not know that Waterworld was a movie.
It's on Netflix. I saw it. Yes.
I watched it 3 times now, and I love it. And I know it was like rated really bad, but I love it.
Well, it's like it's got a cult following, so it's like because you never trust the critic reviews. It's always the audience score.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, I started going to the shows solo because on days where I would get really hot at the parks and stuff, and it was like just a nice way to kind of chill in the AC and eat some snacks. So,
I do like that I can bring snacks into Indiana Jones. That makes me happy.
Yes.
But okay, so any other Disney news before we move on to the really epic news?
I mean, the only news that I could think of is only pertaining to DVC members. Like they really haven't, and besides the special offers that they just announced, I mean, you want to go to Disney this summer, you can get a hotel for cheap. There's the news.
Yeah.
But my heart can't handle any more Disney talk with something epic on the horizon.
I was going to say the other news of Disney is they're probably in panic mode right now because Epic has slammed it out of the park.
And listen, I'm not saying that Disney is in trouble. I'm not saying that Disney's going to go out of business or anything like that. But it's okay to say that they're a little worried. As a business, you have to look at things, and yes, Universal is going to draw more crowds to Disney, but I mean to Orlando. But what Universal is doing is creating a 7 to 8 day
You got it.
destination.
Yep.
So while they don't have that bubble, but people would go to Disney and Universal because Universal wasn't a full week-long
You got it.
destination.
Yep.
But now it is. So if people are going to choose between a week at Disney or a week at Universal, I think they're going to choose Universal at this point because it's shiny, it's new, especially if they've never been. Because I've talked to a lot of people who have said when they announced this 5-6 years ago, I was like, well, I haven't been to Universal yet, so I'm just going to wait until it opens. And once it opens, I'm going to take my family for a week.
Exactly. Yep.
So I'm not saying, I'm not saying Disney is going out of business. That'll never happen unless they do something drastic.
No. Yeah.
But it's okay to say that they're worried, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because that means that it's going to force Disney
To do
to
something.
bring back things that people liked.
Mhm.
It's going to force them to add value back into the parks and into the passes, into the
Well,
tickets.
actually, while you speak of that, actually, if we're talking Disney news, they are slightly starting to bring back the airline stuff
Yes,
at the
Oh,
resorts.
and
And-
they're testing out the Magic Express again.
that is
too.
right.
Yes.
And it is a third party, but again, people didn't know this, but it was Mears that was driving
Exactly.
those Magical
Yep.
Express buses.
Yep.
So it isn't out of the realm of possibility that if this pilot program does well, that they do bring back the Magical Express in some form. Knowing Disney and their modern day marketing, they
It'd
probably
be a
won't be called
payment.
the same.
Yeah, it'll probably be a payment, would be my guess, like a paid.
Unless,
service.
and I could see them saying, well, if you're saying at a value or a moderate, you pay this amount, but if you're saying at deluxe, it's included. So I could see them doing something like that. Because right now, it's
Which I'd be happy with,
yeah.
because I know it's expensive to run that stuff. I get it, but like,
And right now, it's just being tested at the value resorts
Yep.
and Southwest Airlines, I believe.
yeah, Southwest, yeah.
Did I tell you guys I took the bus from Disney Springs to the airport? The last
Lynx?
time the Lynx bus. It was actually not bad. Like I was the
Okay.
only person on the bus up until it got closer to the city of Orlando, and then it started getting a little busy. But it was $4, and
It's not bad.
That's crazy. That's not bad at all.
I know, and it takes you straight to the airport. I don't know if I was like a family. I don't know if I would take it or not. Just because of stroller. I mean, there's places to put
Sure.
your strollers and everything, but like if it's just a couple or one person, like I would totally take that again. It was so
Wow,
How long did it
Nice.
take?
That's good to know.
it was about the same as an Uber, just
Okay.
but I will say, because I was the only person on the bus going to the airport, every time he stopped, he didn't wait very long because there wasn't anybody at the stops that we stopped at. So if there were people getting on, it probably would have taken a little longer. But I would say about 35 to 40 minutes.
So if
It's
it's
not
busy,
bad.
yeah, not bad. So I would say, if you're going to take that, I would budget in 45 minutes to an hour just
Yep,
for
just
to
to-
play.
Yep.
Yeah, but that was the first time I had done that, and I was like, "Oh, I'll do that." Like, because I travel down there solo for work and stuff a lot, but like I said, I don't know if I had a family with kids if I would do that.
Yeah.
An Uber is probably about the same price after you calculate each person.
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah. So
Because I mean, it's a good option to have, and I think that I saw that they're still trying to get that train to go through
mhm.
Yep.
Universal and Disney Springs.
They are. Yep.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Then
Yeah, I think it's the Brightline, isn't it?
I don't know if it's the Brightline anymore. I think it's changed that it might be Sunrail.
Maybe.
Oh,
Uh,
it's Sunrail. That's right. I think
Because
you're right.
I
think it is Sunrail.
know that Brightline is going to eventually develop from Orlando to Tampa.
Correct. Yep.
So I mean, it depends if they can wiggle their way through the city, but I think Brightline wants to be able to high speed it to Tampa
You
and
got it.
back.
Yep.
So if they can take the straight shot, I think that's what they'll take. But I know that Universal and Disney are kind of like, well, they're not feuding, but like Disney's like, well, we're not going to approve you putting a station on our land if it's going to go near Universal.
Exactly.
And that was the
You know
last
what?
article I
Yeah.
read.
That I totally think that they should help each other as far as transportation goes, because it's only going to bring money to both.
It's going to benefit
parts.
both of them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you feuding about it? It's
I mean, the drive between both destinations stinks. It takes. I mean, it stinks. So if you can have reliable public transportation between the two, it only is going to benefit both of them.
Yeah.
exactly.
Because
Yep.
I mean, like I know when I go down and I do like a split stay, I stay at Disney and then do a couple days at Universal or whatever, like I'm going to both parks regardless. So
Exactly.
and a lot
And
of
like if you think
people do that.
and if you think about it too, like benefiting both of them, if you think about like the long run of like less traffic inside their areas because more people will be opt to be taking that to get to places rather than Ubers, jamming up the traffic or like even having to have like as many parking attendants because maybe the garages won't be as full because of the different transportations to get to and from there. So like
Well,
it's
it's
a win-win.
funny you say that their garages not being full is probably one of the number one reasons why they don't want to approve the expansion, because they lose revenue on the parking. When you're charging $50 a car
They
is
shouldn't have built such a large parking deck. That's their fault.
Exactly.
I think that's my one gripe about Universal is
Yeah.
well, at least I get the free parking as an
Mhm.
annual pass holder, but the hotel I don't.
I don't get that.
And I know that's Lowe's, but I mean, I feel like Universal could be like, hey, Lowe's, here's a big
Mhm.
check. Stop charging our guests.
Yeah.
Well, I remember like when I did HHN out in Universal Hollywood like 10 years ago. It was my first time ever out there. Me and my cousin, we rolled up to Universal to park in their garage, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that'll be $75." I'm like, "Excuse
What?
me?" That's what I said to him. I was like, "To park for 4 hours?" Yep, that's the price. I'm like, "Jeez, wow, okay."
Because I'm staying at Stella Nova next week, and it's $30 for the night to park. Night to park.
That's why I rarely drive down anymore. I mean, aside from me living really far away, but yeah, I used to, when I was in Atlanta, I would drive down a lot, and I ended up flying a lot more because then I wouldn't have to pay for parking, and it was easier.
It's crazy that like a prime value hotel is $30 a night for parking.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
And I think Helios is almost 40. I think it's $36, $37 a night.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it's crazy. Let's talk about some of the good stuff,
Yeah.
though.
Hey,
We have to keep it real over here, right?
worth it.
We have to keep it real. I can't be like, it's all sunshine and rainbows. But
no,
I do. But speaking of Helios, we got to first look into it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we have to start with the bar at the top.
Incredible.
I'm at a loss for my words.
When
like
are
when
we
I saw
meeting
it.
for drinks?
Well, I mean, technically it opens next week. Saying.
Ball's in your court, Katie.
We'll be down there the 23rd through the 25th, so
Oh, fancy.
not at Helios, but I might be able to stop by there. So
Reservations are open, just saying. But did you guys see it at night? Or like when it's darker inside?
Yes.
With all the lights on top?
Yep.
I haven't yet. I've actually been limiting the amount of like preview video footage that I see because I saw the like video that you sent me, Josh, of the Nintendo World walkthrough, and I was like,
I asked if you wanted to see it first.
No, I did. I was like, holy crap, this is so immersive. Like it is so immersive just from watching the video. And I realized when I see everything, I want to see as much of it as possible in person first. So I haven't been watching a whole lot of videos yet.
I have heard from my team member friends that have, that saw it on video first, that the pictures and videos don't do it justice.
Exactly. Yep.
Like if you were tearing up at the video, you're going to fall to your knees when you actually walk in. I don't know how I'm going to react on Thursday. If I'm being honest,
Josh passes out, misses the whole epic day.
Hopefully, you get to meet Toothless.
That's all I want. I want to meet. I was really excited about Dark Universe, but after seeing the content from Isle of Berk, I think that Isle of Berk is going to be a land that is going to probably be everyone's favorite.
Josh, I'm glad you actually said that because I was going to say the exact same thing. Like, I think everyone's been looking forward to like Dark Universe, but since I'm a big spoiler person, like I love to see spoilers. So like I've seen like everything so far that's come out, and that has impressed me so much so far.
And what I like to see is Universal sticking with their concept they have over in the original parks and kind of pulling from Disneyland is the Roman characters.
Yep.
I feel like that's how you build a proper land.
Yes.
Because Like if I'm walking around Avatar Land, there is not a single Navi walking around. Like
I know they are missing out huge on that at Disney or that. Like I would love to interact with some Navi characters.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
I just feel like that's like the final touches to make
Mhm.
a land feel like you're actually in that film, you're in that movie, you're in that show.
Yeah.
Like it really ties it all together, and it helps that the sight lines are really good in Epic Universe. I heard, like you can be in one land and you won't see the other,
Mhm.
which
Which
is
is
nice.
crazy.
I've also heard that it's going to be a 2-day park because of how massive it is, which I think we kind of expected that, but I was like, well, maybe you might be able to, get through it if you do the open to close.
Which I was surprised that they did only do a 1-day preview for the media list.
Mm.
I was really thinking that it would be like the whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I was shocked that they only got 1 day in such a massive park.
Mhm.
Yeah. I wonder if they're doing it in like sections. Maybe you've heard a little bit more, but like on preview days, you get to go to Isle of Berk and
Well,
like one other
I
section.
did hear from one of my friends who was invited that it was very set out. I'm trying to think what's the word I'm trying to think of.
Like planned.
Planned, yeah. It was meticulously planned. They had a VIP tour guide, and they went where they were told to go.
Mm-hmm.
So
Gotcha.
that's why, like, if you look at all of the creators, while they all have their own spin, a lot of it is showing the exact same stuff.
Because I think Universal's trying to draw the big ticket items to attract more
Because
people.
if you watched Kirk's video,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't look like he wasn't invited. I don't think he was invited by Universal. He was just invited by a team member because he said in one of his videos that the Battle of Ministry is currently closed only for people on the media list. So it does track that Universal was very meticulous about what's being shown and how it would be shown.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited for it all. Like
Me too.
I know Isle of Berk is gonna just be amazing because there's a lot of color and vibrancy and being interactive with the characters and everything. And I think Dark Universe, even though like Isle of Berk, I'm pretty sure is going to be bigger and larger and have more to do than Dark Universe, but I still love like everything about Dark Universe so far.
Absolutely, for sure.
From what I'm hearing out of the rides there, both are amazing.
Yeah.
I heard that like Curse of Werewolf is a little like quick, but other than that, Monsters Unchained I heard is like one of the best rides that people have been on besides Ministry of Magic.
That's
I'm
awesome.
so excited. I am such a
Can't wait.
classic Monsters fan, so I'm excited.
I was very excited that they actually pulled that into the park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like they could have went with any modern day like IP they have, but they chose to go with what made them.
Oh,
I mean, really, without the monsters, Universal really
I know.
wouldn't be a thing.
And like when you go to Hollywood, they have Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein
Mhm.
walking around, and in Florida, we've never had that. And
Mm-mm.
like that is, I love going to the Hollywood park just so I can interact with those two.
It's
and Dracula is usually there too.
yeah. When we did the VIP tour, we were eating our lunch, and Dracula just came in.
Yeah.
It was like, bro, I'm trying to eat. Don't.
And Dracula will like interact with the Scooby-Doo characters over there and stuff, which was really funny.
It's like when Beetlejuice interacts with them. It's wicked funny.
Yeah. But I'm very excited for all of that. And the Ministry of Magic looks amazing. I have been avoiding the Metro Flu videos because they just look so fun, and I think I have an idea of how they work and everything, but I want to be surprised when I get there for the Metro Flu.
What I heard is that the queue is like you walked into the movie. Like the entire like Paris, like the Ministry, like the whole land itself, do you feel like you're in Paris?
Is it true they spent $1 billion on that ride?
That's what I heard.
That's what I've been hearing. They spent $1 billion on that one ride.
That's insane.
Crazy.
Comcast, the parent company, is very interested in pouring as much money as they can into the parks.
You got it.
And I think for the reason is because cable is going away.
Yes.
So that's why they're all into the Wi-Fi. They're into their mobile service now. But I think pouring the money into the parks is going to create more revenue for them in the long run.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, did you guys see the proposed lands for the UK park?
Yeah, I did see that. I was a little shocked at some of them.
So I think, and I don't know if it's totally confirmed or if it's just a rumor or not, but James Bond, no Harry Potter in the UK part.
And I heard that's because it's so close to the Warner Brothers tour.
That's
Gotcha.
what I was thinking too. And then Back to the Future, which that one kind of surprised me, but I think it would be cool to have something Back to the Future over there. And then Lord of the Rings, I was like,
Wait, Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings, yeah. And if they
That
do-
alone would get me there.
I know.
All right, I'm going 2031. We're all going. We're all going.
Like Lord of the Rings, if they can pull that off, right? I would just die happy. 'Cause-
If it's anything like what they just pulled off at Epic Universe, I think that we'll be very happy with
Yeah.
what happens. The one that really shocked me was Paddington. I saw Paddington on the list.
I think that would be more of like a
Kids
area.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Paddington, I mean, I grew up with Paddington, even though I'm not British, but like I remember as a kid, I loved Paddington Bear.
Yep.
So
I know he's huge over. He's still huge over
Yeah.
there.
yeah, I think
Oh, that
he's
makes
kind
sense.
of like Bluey is over
Yeah.
here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is funny because isn't Bluey also British?
Yeah.
I think so. Man, kid, you got me excited about Lord of the Rings. I really hope that's true.
I honestly thought that we were getting Lord of the Rings at Epic, like when they first announced stuff. I know that was one of the rumored lands originally. So I know there's expansion pads, so it's always a possibility.
Mhm.
We're either gonna get Wicked or we're gonna get Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
For a new land.
Wicked would be cool,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, that would be
Maybe.
I
If it's done right.
If it's done right, yeah, for sure.
I have no gripe. Like, I feel like it has to be done right because it is one of those IPs that I feel like it's hard to create rides around, that aren't screen based. Because sure, you can do the Witch's Brew and the bicycle, but I feel like it's harder to do. Like you definitely do like a walkthrough area, but I feel like the
Yeah.
rides would
No,
be the
that's
hardest
fair.
part.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, what about the food at Epic Universe?
That is my department, and I actually have been making a list of things. I'm going to be so far in the red after Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right Down Main Street did do a decent video on the food, but I don't care about the highlight foods because that's not the only thing people are going to be ordering.
Yeah.
So my goal is to try, I had my list originally. I want to try the black wings, the catch of the day. I got to try a mac and cheese cone apparently.
Yeah.
Obviously the butterbeer crepe.
Yep.
Did you that butterbeer crepe is $20.
Yep.
$19.99.
But I think you said it was massive, right, Jerry?
From what I'm hearing, it's like very shareable and it's very like dense, is what I've heard. Like it's not like your typical crepe from what I've been hearing.
I think I had 6 or 7 items on my list, and it's over $100.
Just for the one. Yeah.
But the food does look good.
But from what people are saying, though, it's not like theme park food.
Right.
Like it's like actually quality of things that you're getting.
And I think the one thing that surprised me was what Das Steakhouse is a quick service.
Mm-hmm.
That very surprised me too.
I thought that when it was first announced, I honestly thought that it was going to be
For sure.
a restaurant.
Yeah.
So I
you
wonder
look
if that
at
was
the
like a last minute
pictures, kind
change.
of- yeah. I will say, I don't know the last time you had a crepe at Universal, but the last time we had a savory crepe, it was large, and Chris and I split it, and we still
Yes.
had some left over,
Yep.
and I think it was like $15.
Yeah, I think the brisket one, I think, is like $15 now. I think so. If I
So
remember
the extra
correctly.
$5 is the butterbeer charge.
Yeah.
It's the
The
IP.
butterbeer name, it's the IP. Because it was surprised. It's just surprising because the cream puff is only $6.99. So it surprised me when I heard about the price for it.
Yep. I mean, they got to make up for what they just spent in Epic.
Yeah, we got to make up the $1 billion ride somehow, right? But but I mean, everything looks good. Like the new pizza place, the pizza's actually pizza.
Yep.
Like it's not like
Wait, what did
Luigi's.
Exactly.
I was like, the pizza is actually pizza. What?
Well, because the
Whoa.
one at the one at Luigi's in
Spoiler alert.
in Universal Studios is like Costco pizza, but this is like,
I've never gotten pizza at Universal Studios, so
well, I did it. I got it at Orlando Informer because it was free. Well, it was free to me in my math in my head. You know, I paid for the ticket, but it's still
Yeah.
I'm not paying for the food. But it's like a wood fired pizza. So,
yum.
and I think the one I was looking at was $17.99 for the
Gotcha.
pizza.
For like
So,
a slice?
It's like a I don't have
Like a
like
personal pizza.
Yeah, it's like this big, I think.
So that's like bite size for me.
I think like I'm trying to think of something like you know the pan pizzas from Domino's,
Yes.
like the medium sized ones. I think it's about
Gotcha.
that size.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's actually pretty decent size.
Yeah, and it's got like fancy flavors, but a lot of the other food I saw looked really good, like the barbecue from
Yeah.
Oaken Tavern.
Yes.
Oaken Tavern or something.
Yep.
I was just
That
pulling
looked
up
really
some
good.
of the food to see what strikes
That's
me.
one with that the mango bread, right?
Yes.
Yes, that looks pretty good.
Oh, I
Like,
didn't see the
I'm
mac
not
and cheese
spending.
one.
I'm not trying the mango bread. Like I'm not gonna. Not like like it's just not my priority for my content because
Gotcha.
it's
Because
bread.
it's just bread.
It's bread. It's kind of hard. I mean, it's either gonna be dry and flavorful or it's gonna be moist and flavorful. Like, you know, I ain't spending $6.99 on this other stuff to try.
Well,
I did hear.
Are you gonna try some of the drinks at Helios?
Possibly. I don't know if it'll be this trip. Trying to watch my alcohol intake.
Yeah. Well, they
But,
have non-alcoholic stuff
Right.
too
So
that looks
I
really
know
cool.
that there's some pretty good mocktails in the park
Yeah.
right now. But my focus will be on the food. Not just the Instagrammable food. Like, I want to try the things that I haven't seen anyone try yet, while mixing in the other things because I got to give my honest take on it.
Yeah.
But I did, if the Atlantic restaurant that overlooks Celestial Park,
That looks cool.
I
That's
think
awesome.
that might be like my favorite restaurant ever made because of the views.
Yep.
It's like if you sit on the outside window of Mythos, you get to overlook
Yep.
the entire park. That's what it reminds me of.
Ooh, I'm so excited. And the little like
Can't wait to
fish
step foot in
that
there.
are floating above,
Mhm.
the colorful tiles and everything. That's gonna be really cool.
Because Josh, you're going Thursday, right?
I am going Thursday.
Yeah, I'll be there Saturday.
Good, so you can pick up the slack what I didn't get.
Exactly. I'll get the mango bread.
Yeah,
You're
you get the
welcome.
mango bread. Thanks. Appreciate you. Because I think I have like the sticky cake I put on my list because
Ooh.
it's like bread or cake. I think I'm gonna go with the cake.
Yep. Katie, when you going?
I think April 23rd is when I'm going. I'm trying to still figure out flights.
Okay, sure. Okay.
Yeah. So I think
Guys, we were really bad at coordinating this.
Yeah,
well,
we really were.
I didn't find
Well,
out
listen.
until
I waited for 4 hours to get my ticket, okay?
That's
4 hours.
Not my fault that you're not part of the right UOAP group.
Yeah, seriously.
And Connie, we trust.
oh my gosh. I did not find out that I was going until like 2 nights ago, and because of where I have to fly out, I can either fly out direct flights on Mondays or on Thursdays, and so I'm trying to time it right. But then I got a notification from the airport saying that they are changing the flight. So I have to figure out which airport I'm flying out of before I can make my official plan. So that's why I didn't tell you guys. It wasn't because I was hiding anything from you or anything like that.
We're all just gonna have to go when it's fully open.
Yeah. And we'll have to do like a whole shebang episode covering
Everyone's
it.
gonna get their own phone and we're gonna split up.
Yeah.
Just like FaceTime. Can we always record the FaceTime?
Yep. I hope eventually, like more sooner than later, that they add it as an option for annual pass.
So
I hope.
I've had people like, do you think it's gonna be? Do you think? I'm like, honestly, I don't think so. Because
You don't think?
You don't think so?
I don't know. I'd be very surprised if it happens within the first 6 months.
Well, we didn't think express passes were going to be a thing the first
No,
year.
but I knew that. If you read the FAQ, it said will be announced later this year before the park opens. But if you look at the annual pass
before
FAQ,
that-
it doesn't say that.
Oh, Well, before, because I remember last year when they were telling us about the tickets, they were like, "Yeah, express passes are likely not going to be a thing."
Well, yeah, that. But I mean,
And
like when they
then
announced the tickets,
then
when
they
I saw the
quickly
FAQ.
went back on it.
If you read the FAQ now, though, if you go to the section where it asks about AP discounts, it says it'll be announced at a later time.
Well,
Mhm.
as far as I know, for the previews, we get free parking still, if you're in that tier of free parking, and you get your AP discounts.
No, for sure. But what I'm getting at is if they're saying they're going to announce something at a later time, like if they're going to offer AP discounts in Epic Universe, then
Now,
my assumption would be they're going to offer an annual pass for it.
I could see annual passes being announced this year, but not going into effect until
Correct.
2026.
So 20.
Yeah.
I think so too, just because of crowds. I think so. Or like they'll put a cap on it. Same thing
Yeah.
with like kind of like what Disney did with like the reservation system kind of thing. But like still, like it's like everyone's like dumping all this, paid to go each day to get to Epic, and it's like now we're annual passes. I was like, well, will that add into my annual pass? What I just spent to go?
Yeah. Well, I don't
But-
even think they've dropped tickets for 2026 yet.
No,
Not yet.
neither of them have.
Nope.
Neither parks. No Disney, no Universal.
Yeah. So I think
Which
they're.
stinks because I got to book my Run Disney hotel.
I know. Well, you could still book the hotel. You can just.
Well, yeah, but not on property. But I think it's a good time for final thoughts, and I think a great final thought topic would be, what is the first thing you're going to do when you walk into the Kronos? Where are you
Cry.
headed first?
Oh.
Well, yeah, obviously cry.
I was gonna say, probably to seek EMT medical treatment.
They have to hand out a box of tissues to everybody that walks in. That's like, you're gonna need this.
Tears, happy tears. I don't know. I feel like I am going to want to run to Dark Universe, and even though Isle of Berk is very high up there, I think I kind of want to save that one for like last for me.
It is the largest, so it'll take the
Mhm.
most time too.
I'm still battling this question. I don't know. I'm gonna let the moment take itself when we get in there. I really don't know. I don't. I'm just
Hey,
so
that's
like
fair.
caught up on everywhere. I'm still like question like where do I want to? Because like again, the Dark Universe. That's what I've been most excited about. But then seeing everything, and I'm like, all right, they knocked this thing out of the park. Like, there's not one questionable thing about this place. Like, I'm like, how did they do that? Like, it's like every park has a flaw, and I'm like, I haven't seen it yet. So like, I don't know.
That's by design.
Yeah, I don't. I'm so caught up. I wish I could have 5 of me just to go everywhere.
I think I'm just gonna take in Celestial Park for a little bit first. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be, while it's not technically the land, it's just a hub. I really think that what I've seen from the theming and everything, I'm gonna have to take it all in,
Yeah.
and I'll rush through it.
Yep. And the Stardust Racers are supposed to be incredible. So.
I can't wait
They
to get on
have
it.
a flux capacitor, so like
Yep.
they're a Back to the Future. You can tell me it's not, but it's a Back to the Future coaster.
I'm sure they did that on purpose. Like,
Mhm.
I cannot
you
wait.
said, everything is by design there. So
I am very excited. But you can find me on all social media at Josh from the Parks. Katie,
at the magical KTB.
Jerry,
It's a buzz life.
and we're going to put our hands up because your lap bars are coming up.